Hey there, it's Mark from Men Who Bullet. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And as you saw in the description and the title of this video, today we're going to be talking about the perfect notebook. It's the name of the notebook, not necessarily is it the perfect notebook. We're going to find that out today and do a quick flip through review, take a look at the features of this, and talk a little bit about the 4-step system that this notebook puts into place. Full disclosure, the Perfect Notebook brand did send this one out for me to check out, so we're going to be looking through that today. And I'm still going to give you my full honest opinion of this notebook. I think it fits a very specific niche and depending on what you want to try to achieve for yourself. So let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to check out the Perfect Notebook, full review and feature review as well. All right, let's go ahead and get into the Perfect Notebook. So they sent this along to me. I've got a bunch of stuff that I want to cover with you today, but I thought what we'll do first is step through the system and understand exactly what it does, because there is a 4-step system that exists that helps you kind of pre-plan out your days. We'll take a look at what comes as a part of this notebook. We have all of the insert pages here that we have, and then I also have 2 other filler pages that came along with what they sent me, which are extremely helpful, especially for how I think I would use a notebook like this. So let's go ahead and open it up and take a look at exactly what we're getting as a part of this. So the Perfect Notebook is fully customizable. You'll see that it's a modular system. We have the rings over here, and then inside of here is the 4-step system, which we're going to go over in just a little bit. This is what's going to help you really set up and plan for your goals. They focus on acting on them on a daily basis, monitoring them, seeing how things are going and progressing, and then reflecting on them as well. The notebook itself is about a B5 size-ish. So it's 6.9 inches by 9.8 inches. So just for comparison, this is my A5 size journal that I've been using. This is my B5 size journal that I'm going into. It's just a little bit wider because of the ring. So the notebook dimensions itself are that 6.9 by 9.8, but just know that you have to add just a little bit of extra space here for the rings on the side. So let's go ahead and pop this open. Inside of here, you do have these 2, well, it kind of looks like one ruler, but it's 2 different rulers here for yourself. We've got inches and centimeters here. What I do like about this, though, I will say, is that I like that these pop out, because I could totally see these being used as tabs. A big thing I've been thinking about with this notebook is how would I use it for myself? And I am actually going to set this up in a little bit, because this notebook could be used professionally or personally or both. And this is a great way that you could pop in a tab for like, oh, this is personal. And then you would pop it later on in there and say, hey, this is professional. But we'll talk about that in just a little bit. The first thing you come in here is the user guide of this. Again, it's a 4-step system, and they do a good job of explaining how this entire system works. So the first step is the plan. And this is where you're really going to focus in on big block goals for 2-week cycles is what they're looking at here. So you can set that up in that time frame. I also think that you could do this for longer if you wanted to. I know 2 weeks sometimes can be difficult. I was actually thinking monthly or even quarterly in some cases are good ways to focus, especially if you have a lot going on. And this notebook definitely surfaces a lot of important parts of your life to focus on, but thinking about them all together at the same time, a little overwhelming for me, but everyone is different. You decide, you do it. I need more time to accomplish my goals. Everything in here can focus around what you need, and they have these really cool dashboards, which will take a closer look at doing that. And it lets you choose several kind of long-term or short-term goals. They focus on some main sections that we'll look at, as well as having other areas to set this up and focus. It comes front and back. So on the front is very much focused on personal, and then the back focuses on professional goals. Even though some things on the front I think could be professionally focused. I mean, again, it's up to you and how you want to do it, but we'll go through that in more detail in just a second. The second part of their step system is ACT, and this is your daily management of what's happening. These are smaller tasks, things that you want to focus on. You'll see as we go through, you'll see those icons that we saw before mimic throughout all of these, because the idea is to be very mindful and focused on the goals that you're trying to achieve as you go through with them. So we'll take a closer look there. You'll also be focusing on your big blocks, your small blocks, and priorities. Each one of these daily sheets is very cool. We'll take a look at that in just a minute. Then monitoring. So again, you're always coming back and forth, similar to what I've talked about in the bullet journal method. This notebook and the Perfect Notebook does that as well, where you want to come back on a certain cadence just to check in on your goals that you're setting. I actually think this is probably the number one reason why at work, I know for myself, those personal, professional goals that we set up every year kind of you forget about them because you don't have something that you can go back to and reference. So that's why I set up a goals and objectives for myself in my bullet journal. This does it for you though. So you could very much incorporate those big goals into your professional space and reflect on these as you go forth. Then there's the reflection. I love reflection. I need to do it a lot more, but just being mindful, taking the time and thinking through it. I think what I love most about what I'm seeing as a part of this notebook that I've flipped through it is that it's helping to guide you. You don't have to figure it out yourself. The notebook is doing it for you. And you can take these pages in and out, buy more inserts, and continue to build on this over time. And I really like that about it. So that's going to be the whole front section. So I'm actually going to pull this part out. One of the great features about ringed binders like this is that you can easily pull out these perforated pages and move them somewhere else if you need them, or recycle them, or put them in another one as a way to reflect on them. So inside of this notebook, the first thing you see are actually the dailies. And I wanted to pull out the reflection ones because that is how I feel like I would set this up first. So we saw them, and it's also the first step of the program as well. So there's going to be 10 of these pages, I believe, that we're going to pull out of here. And we'll just take a closer look at these first, and then we'll go into the dailies and then the reflection. So the personal big blocks dashboard that we saw has the number 1 on here. This would be your first of many. This is where all of your upfront planning is going to happen. And they break it down into these main sections here. You have your fun and recreation. This can both focus on things that you want to go and do, what helps you wind down, books you're reading, things along that line. Relationships, who are you trying to spend more time with? Body time, this is exercise, this is eating well, getting a massage, what's that? Also, personal growth here, what can you enhance your own well-being? So very much inner focused there. And then skill building, which is what are things that you want to help develop. So with each one of these, you put in and write in what your goal is, and then what your focus areas are going to be to actually accomplish that. I also forgot to mention you have your begin and complete up here, so that'll be really important for you as you set these up. Then on the back side of these sheets, same thing, dashboard number 1, start and stops, professional goals here. What are the next major achievements you would like to accomplish? This can be for your full-time job. This could be for your fun-time job. You're an entrepreneur, you're hustling, you're trying to do stuff. You could use this for that, and then grab another dashboard and set that up for your work life. Totally up to you. Inside of here, you have 4 main goals. You have subtasks that you would set up and want to work towards. And then you have those, 25, 50, 75% complete markers over here as you're working through them. So that's going to be all of your dashboards that you're going to set up, and you would set these up again on your time frames that you're trying to block your goals around. 2 weeks, as they mentioned inside of the beginning of the notebook, monthly, quarterly, you pick your time frame. All right, the next part of this is going to be what was in the front of this notebook, which are all of your daily pages. So inside of this notebook, you're going to have 40 sheets, but they're front and back. So 80 pages total that are going to get you through your time frame that you're working through. Each one of these daily pages is super helpful. If you're a planner person or predated, or these are undated, you can really make them what you need. If you're working Monday through Friday, you're only going to end up using 5 sheets in a week. If you're also doing stuff Saturday, Sunday, again, splitting that out between personal, full-time job, whatever that is, you keep using these as you go through. You add your date here to the top. All of those big block goals that we saw in the beginning of this notebook show up here again so that you can focus in on, well, what am I focusing on today? Am I focusing on relationships and skill building, or am I focusing today on my professional goals? Whatever that might be, you can always reference back and forth to those. You have space for your big to-dos and your big blocks, your priorities, as well as nice little notes on the side. What can wait till tomorrow? Who can I call, or who do I need to call or email? Parking lot ideas and things you can reference later. A little block here for notes, water tracking, and then just daily goal tracking, or overall, how are you feeling today? So you have all these pages inside of here. Then once you go through your dailies here, let me go ahead and get to the back here. I marked it to make it easier for myself, and then I'm not using it. We have your reflection pages. So this is that fourth step inside of this process, which is helping you to accomplish your goals and reflect on what you have or have not done. So on this page, it took me how many days to complete my last Big Block dashboard. That's taking a look at the very first one that you did. How did I get through that? How long did it take me? Did I achieve my goals in a balanced way during this period? So this is just asking you a lot of questions. And I like this because this isn't something that I necessarily think about for myself in my bullet journal. So this really helps guide you through that. It gives you prompts to answer and think through how you want to focus on that. This was interesting down here because it talked about what made it hard for me to invest in my big block times. And it actually breaks it down into unfavorable external conditions, hard to get myself to do it, and just not a priority. And then down here as well, intentions for the upcoming period. So you really work through these pages to figure out what it is you need to do. The last thing we're going to look at here in the back of these pages, just the line pages that come as a part of this. You get 40 sheets, which is 80 pages. So if you are a fan of taking notes, you pull these in and out as you need to for whatever you're working through. Now, along with all of the pages that come as a part of the Perfect Notebook when you first get it, there are also inserts that you can purchase. And I really like these a lot. So the first ones here are undated weekly calendar pages. So right when you pop this open, let me set this over here. It gives you a nice weekly overview with daily calendars of your time of what you're working through. It is in 24-hour period of time. So for me, once I get into the 1 o'clock and after time, I got to think for a second to convert that inside of my brain, but it's okay. Also, what I liked is it gave you deadlines for the things you wanted to accomplish for the entire week. So daily tasks, and then a space over here for notes. And that's follows you all the way through all of these. So that can get you pretty deep inside of your weeks if that's something that you like to use. And then the other thing I really liked too was this dated calendar. So this does work 2021 through 2022. So even though we're moving into 2022, this covers you for 2 full years. So we still will have the calendar as I set this up for 2022 and just show you how I would utilize it. But overall, the way the calendar pages is gives you those full dates, a peek into the future here, focused on all of those big rocks if you want to focus on specific ones for that month. Big block goals, and a small space for notes. We're going to go ahead and move ourselves all the way up to January of 2022 here. So I can remove these pages. So I'm going to set this up inside of here. The one thing I did notice though on these that I wish it was a little bit different. This is just my own personal preference though, is that they weren't like this. So what this forces me to do is put all of these together in the front of my notebook so that I have to refer back to the full calendar pages for my planning versus what I think I would have liked to do personally would be to have like a January and then maybe just like more notes or something on the back. And then, I don't know, we'd have to figure it out. It makes sense on how it's put here, but that you have a February here or something along that line so that you could put all of your pages between it. So I could have maybe my quarter, January, what I'm going to do, right? I'll kind of focus on quarters. So I would do January, February, March. But then I would want to then break that up with like my reflection pages or whatever that is, and then kick into April, May, June or something like that. So otherwise, everything else in here is very cool. It also includes some pages back here for you if you want to make your own. So it's the same exact setup here, just without the mini calendar over here, but it still has all your big blocks and then just gives you more space for your goals. So you could still set it up that way. I guess if I wanted to make it myself, I could do that and just use these individual pages, but I like that the calendars are already here for me. So we'll set that up as well. So here's how I would set up my Perfect Notebook. First and foremost, I would go in and I would add all of my calendar pages to my notebook. I'm actually going to take out the ones that are undated because I don't need those. There we go. Maybe I'd use that for something else, but not right now. So I'd take all of those and I'd pop them all in the front of my notebook. There we go. So I have all of those there for myself. Then what I would do is I would take my personal dashboard, my first one, and I would set this up inside of here. I would then take one of my calendars, little pages here, because this, I think, for me would help me separate out where I have my calendar pages from where I'm working inside of. And that's how I think I would set this up. So I'd have my personal blocks page here for all of that. Personally, for me, I absolutely love these undated calendar pages. So what I would do, I wouldn't use this. See, I don't like sometimes that these are printed on here like this, because I have to skip a page and then it kind of feels weird. I don't know, just me personally. Feedback, right? I would set this up so I would have week 1, 2, 3, and then 4, which leaves an extra page there on the side, but it is what it is. Then I would set up these weeklies like this. I wouldn't use this page, right? I would come in here and I would figure this out here. And this is where it starts to get a little bit funny though, because I would set up my weekly overview, and then what I would do is I would grab myself 5 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, technically it would be 6. So 3 of these pages here. So goals, my week, and then I would set up my other week. But then this starts to get a little bit messy here on how we do it, because then we have this other week inside of here. So I guess I would set up my weeks, and then I would set up my dailies, I guess is how I would do it. And so this would cover me for a week. And then I would just do the same thing again. So I would actually need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure I'm right, because I think I would need 12 pages, right, to get me through this week of time. So this is week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. We're doing a full month here. And then we would come through here and we would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 pages equals a week. So 1, 2 would be 6 pages. 9, 10, 11, 12. So that there would be the full month that I would do. So I guess I would look at it on a monthly basis, because that to me just seems to be the right way to potentially do that. And then I would grab more of those pages and set them up the same exact way. I probably would grab some of these sheets here in the back personally, but I'm not 100% sure just yet. And then the last thing I would do would be to grab my reflection page back here. So I have my first one there, and then I have my first reflection page. So after I was done with that full month, I guess, sorry, not week, month is how I would break this down. I could then do my reflection, and then I would start it all up over again. So there we have it, the perfect notebook. We've got a full month set up, and that's how I think I would approach this, and that would cover me for a good amount of time.
All right, that is the perfect notebook. I'll tell you right off the bat, what I love most about this notebook is that it does help you break down the things that you need to try to figure out for yourself. A lot of the times for myself, I can't think of the right way to kind of break things down. I do that for like project management, projects all day long. I can break a thing down. But when it comes to reflection, when it comes to thinking about what's next, kind of that next step thinking, sometimes I need that extra help and resources, and I definitely think that this notebook has that for you. I also love that you can buy refills for this and get different things that you need to mix and match to really make this your own and make it your own perfect notebook, if that's something that you're looking for. Again, I want to thank the Perfect Notebook brand for sending this out to me to check this out and take a review. Definitely going to be utilizing this from a standpoint of reflection, I think. I don't know that I would necessarily use this as my daily driver right now, just because I'm still fully in love with the bullet journal method and really keeping up on that. But I definitely can see the benefits of using these resources page to reflect on what's happening, or maybe even using them together along with my bullet journal to reflect and be intentional about the things that I'm doing as well. Thank you as always for checking out this video. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to find out anything else about this notebook or what you think if you've ever tried this one out. Also, all the links are in the descriptions below for you if you want to check this one out for yourself. Thanks again, and I will chat with you very soon on our next video. See ya.